What does it? Oh, hello. My mic is not on. Hello. Now my mic is on. Hello. Oh, I don't like ringing the bell, but I was told to ring the bell, so here's the bell. Oh, that works. Okay. I normally like saying, what does a waterfall sound like? And then I make you guys go shh, because I find it a little more peaceful than the bell. But, everybody's got their own preferences. Hi, I'm Chloe McElroy. I'm your service leader for today. I am standing in front of you wearing Stitch from head to toe. I have a backward snapback that even has Stitch on it. Snatch. Yeah. And I'm about 5'4", and I have fiery red hair for anybody who cannot see me. We would like to thank everybody for being here today, and welcome anybody who is joining us online, which we're going to wave to our online friends and members that have been joining us there. Thank you for being here, friends. And we would like to welcome, we already did that. We have many people that come here to speak to us, from professors from UCF to professors from Valencia, Rollins. We have a lot of wonderful colleges around us, as well as Reverend Kathy, who comes to speak with us about once a month. But we ask that you come to at least 3 services, to really figure out if you dig our vibe, because we are lay-led, which means that every service is going to be different. You'll see a different service leader up here every week, and then you'll see different speakers. So try to come back and see us multiple times to see if that's what you're interested in. And in the meantime, why don't you go ahead and greet your neighbors and listen for me to call you back. And yet again, what does a waterfall sound like? Shh. There we go. There'll be more time for coffee and conversation afterwards, and we'd love to continue to hear more of the giggles, because the giggles were definitely my favorite part of that. I'm just going to go over exits real quick. You have the exit that you came in through, as well as the exit over to the back building. We have the exit towards the Memorial Garden, as well as the one that's behind me, though this one has a lot of cords and other things like that, so I would try using all the other exits first. For any friends who are in a wheelchair or a mobility device, this front exit to my left is going to be the best one for you. We are going to go ahead and start today with committee moments. Anybody who has anything to share committee-wise can come up to the mic, and if you need me to bring the mic to you, please just raise your hand.
Hi, everyone. Oh, did it? Okay. Today with RE, so the first thing is that today after the service we will be holding an RE committee meeting. That will be happening in the back building, and there will be childcare available, so for any of our parents on the RE committee, we will have childcare available if your kids would like to hang out while you're in the meeting. A lot of it will be talking about planning some of the events upcoming, including our field day, which will be happening next Sunday after service. I believe there's a slide for field day. There it is. So this is for the whole congregation. Everyone is welcome. Kids, no kids, everyone is welcome to participate. We'll have food, we'll have some drinks, and it will just be kind of like what you did in elementary school, like dodgeballs and water balloon tosses and potato sack races, and I have other events as well. It is open to everyone. If you are in a wheelchair or need in any kind of mobility devices or anything, we will be having events that you can participate in as well. So Your age, your physical ability, anything like that shouldn't be a barrier. You're welcome to participate. And if you don't want to do the event, you can help us scorekeep or be an audience member or just help with referee, anything like that. So we have lots of different ways you can participate in that. And that will be next Sunday after the service. Thank you.
Hi, Joe Vita. I have several things going on. Number one, there's no women's group sisterhood this coming April because that will be the night of our Seder. And that will be here at the fellowship. Everybody is invited. It's all inclusive. We'll be having matzo ball soup and lots of fun and fellowship, and I hope everyone will bring a dish. Please do not bring pork or bread. Those are just the two restrictions. And I also have, what's that? Oh, I'm sorry, April 3rd at 6 o'clock, right here. And also I have a dozen, actually 3 dozen eggs to sell. I have a flat of 24 and a dozen. The dozen is 5, the 24 is 10, and the proceeds go to SAC.
Hey, everybody. Is there an auction slide up there somewhere? I have 2 clipboards going around today. One is for the meals at the auction so that we know how many people to plan for. April 19th is the auction. The meal choices are Lori's Wonderful Lasagna, Lori's Wonderful Meatless Lasagna, and Chloe's Wonderful Vegan Gluten-Free Meal. So please check on that chart to say which ones you want, how many for your family. This is the second chart. For the auction to go well, we need volunteers. We need volunteers that Saturday night, the 18th, to set up the library, cart the things over into the youth room and get the tables and everything set up. And during the auction, we need everybody to just take a turn to help with different things. So I'm going to start this around. If you would be kind enough to pass this all around and get it back to me. It has a pen with it. It would be lovely if the pen would also come back. Can you start that around? If anybody has any questions about the auction, please see me. We are getting in some lovely donations, and I have some people who are going out to get more. It's going to be a fun time.
Good morning, Jill with Hospitality. First of all, I want to thank everybody that's volunteered to help out with coffee service in the kitchen. We love new volunteers too, so don't hesitate if you're new. The other thing is, if anybody has a coffee grinder, a coffee bean grinder at home, they'd be willing to lend to us next week or any week for one Sunday. We want to be able to use our wonderful coffees. Unfortunately, we bought whole bean instead of ground coffee.
Joie Kohl with your weekly reminder about pledge. So far, we have hopefully motivated you by recounting all the things that we love about Triple U. They're over there with the big heart. I've even reminded you of what you might have forgotten with the hymn, the very sacred UU hymn, Coffee, Coffee, Coffee. We've gone over the practical reasons and our practical needs, like lights and maintenance, and most of all, our wonderful employees to whom we owe a fair and good wage. So given your several methods, I've given you several methods. Is it up there? No? Yeah, sustaining what we love, but there's another one that has something to do with how you can go online. There we go. If you go online, this you can click on the pledge there online. You can get you can do it with a paper pledge, which is what I have done. There are several ways. If you need information, please see me. And finally. Reverend Kathy has talked to you about generosity. So we've hit you in all ways, folks. Now we need you to step up, please, and make your pledge. I'm putting up more and more green every day, but it's not overwhelmed green yet. So please, if at all possible, that's what we need to do. We need to get those pledges in. I'm going to be out of town through part of April, so please try to get them in before then. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Miguel Rodriguez from Social Action Committee. We have a meeting today at noon in the library toward the back of this building, and also on Zoom if you can't make it physically, face-to-face. We still love to have you attend. And there's no King's Day? There's no... No. Oh, no King's Day. Yeah. I got a million of them. Yes, that's right. So no King's Day is next Saturday, and we will be talking about that, the logistics and carpooling and all that, today at the SAC meeting. Of course, the major areas that are having no King's Day is downtown Orlando, Sanford, and Lake Baldwin. Okay. And Cocoa, Florida, Lila.
Yeah, and also out toward the beach in like the Rockville area.
Rockville area, toward the beach as well. So, toward the beach. So yeah, there are different areas, and we're going to talk about that, post it as well during the week. Hopefully in notable news it'll be there somewhere, so you'll have the information. And the meetups and who's carpooling, who's taking who, and all that. So be noticed for that. And what we do in SAC is things like this, right? As well as announce, donations for groups, and if you want to volunteer for a certain group. I want to specifically say this week, today, I saw that TSA. The workers of TSA in the airport, there are about 1,000 of them. They're coming into work with no pay. Okay, so a lot of them are, just, they don't have a lot of food or supplies. So the airport is I think in Terminal C, you can go ahead and donate if you like in Terminal C, whatever you have. If, you have anything that you'd like to donate for them to keep them going, because they are helping us and saving us as we fly throughout the skies, right, around the world and around the country. So these are things that SAC does, that we promote, helping our community and our country. So, Lila?
So I know that we always offer a portion of our collection to a certain charity. Is there any way in which it could go to?
That's something to be discussed at SAC.
Okay.
We'll discuss it as SAC.
Bringing up the idea.
Thank you, everyone.
He threw me off. I'm supposed to be the last one, and I forgot my joke, and it's the best joke yet. Once upon a time, not so long ago, a very wealthy elderly lady lay dying. Knowing that she would not last the night, she called 3 very dear friends to her bedside, a priest, a rabbi, and a UU minister. As they gathered around, she explained that when her time came, she wanted to take her fortune with her to the grave. Friends, she said, I trust you because you are men and women of the cloth. I've converted all my worldly goods to cash. When they lower me into the ground, I want you to throw these 3 suitcases into my grave. With that, each religious leader was given a large suitcase stuffed with $100 bills. Each promised their friend to do her bidding. After the funeral, the 3 found themselves in the same vehicle as it left the cemetery. After traveling in silence for a while, the priest confessed, Friends, I couldn't help myself. I needed the money for the bishop's fund, and I took $5,000. I know God will forgive me. The rabbi listened and said, I understand how you feel. Our temple is in much need of repair. I took $10,000, but I'm sure it won't be missed. After listening to her two colleagues, the UU minister shook her head and said, "I'm shocked at both of you. I threw in a check for the full amount." National Women's Week, or International Women's Week.
Oh my goodness, that's a good one. Well, to stick with that vein of International Women's Week and Day and Month, we have many things about women to celebrate in this vein. My opening words actually are coming from the International Women's Day website. The theme this year, which it's in its 115th year of International Women's Day, is to give to gain. So this is like their introduction on the website. When we give to gain, together let's help forge gender equality through abundant giving. The International Women's Day 2026 Give to Gain campaign encourages a mindset of generosity and collaboration. Give to Gain emphasizes the power of, I have trouble with this word, reciprocity. I practiced it, I promise. Say it again. Reciprocity. Yeah, thank you. And support. When people, organizations, communities give generously, opportunities and support for women increase. Giving is not a subtraction, it's intentional multiplication. When women thrive, we all rise. Whether through donations, knowledge, resources, infrastructure, visibility, advocacy, education, training, mentoring, or time. Contributing to women's advancements helps create a more supportive and interconnected world. What will you give to gain gender equality? So that is the takeaway for the day. Our opening music today is going to be To Dance in Sarah's Circle. We originally, Janet said that she was going to have all women presenting people singing and performing today, but unfortunately she is not feeling well. So, in support of his glorious wife, Gary is coming up to help his wife in International Women's Day salute.
So this will have a short introduction, and then I think we're singing verses 1, 2, 3, and 5. Please rise if you're willing and able. We are dancing Sarah's circle. We are dancing Sarah's circle. We are dancing Sarah's circle, sisters, brothers all. Here we seek and find our history. Here we seek and find our history. Here we seek and find our history, sisters, brothers all. We will all do our own naming. We will all do our own naming. We will all do our own naming, sisters, brothers all. On and on the circles moving, on and on the circles moving, on and on the circles moving, sisters, brothers all.
Thank you. Our chalice lighter today is Chase. He uses he, him pronouns. He is now 15, which is insane. And he played basketball yesterday. He's excited about that. Thank you, guys. All right, we're going to go ahead and say our chalice lighting. In the light of truth, in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. And we love to affirm our time here together as well with our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. With the moving of the mic, it is now time for Joys and Concerns. I just want to let you all know that we are still, putting us out there to the world. So if there is stuff you don't want shared on the internet, maybe keep it more privately to yourself. But if you don't mind, please come up and share. And if you need me to bring a mic to you, please let me know.
Good morning. I never know whether I'm supposed to say this during the committee meetings or this Joys and Concerns thing, but I'm leading another one-day meditation retreat. And there are flyers posted on the door and in the hallway. It will be on the 18th of April, Saturday, at a retreat center in Apopka. So if you're interested, I have some flyers here with me, and you can approach me and get more information about it. And I hope you'll consider that. By the way, that will be 1 week after I end my next 10-day retreat in my backyard. So I'll be fresh and ready to share. Wish you well.
I have one joy and one concern. My joy is that field day is coming up, and my concern is that spring break is coming to an end. Exactly.
I have two joys. One is that I'm starting to feel better. I'm eating normal food, which is really a huge improvement. Yesterday I had Thai green curry. It was pretty amazing. I never knew how much I would miss just eating normal food like that. So feeling a lot better. And also the other joy is that we found out that we're having a little boy. So yep. So we're excited. So yeah. Do you have anything to add? Nope.
I have two joys and a sadness. The two joys are that the next two Sundays we won't be here. Next Sunday we're riding, maybe that's a joy for you, but 62 miles to benefit diabetes research. So you can still donate. Carl hasn't met his minimum yet, so go to his page on the Facebook. And then the following weekend we'll be in Washington, D.C. with all of the kids. So we're excited about that. My sadness is that some of you know John Mowbray was here a couple of weeks ago at Potluck because he was visiting with his brother. He did pass away on Friday. Not John, his brother. He was an educator, big FSU fan, and an author. And he will be sadly missed. He was a little bit older than John, but lived a lovely life, and John was able to be there at the last moments, and all the family is together in Jacksonville except for Jake, with the family. So Amy asked me to pass that on.
Yeah. My joy is that Janet is now 3E in hexadecimal. 3E. That's 62.
Oh, math joke.
Hi, I'm Ellen, and I had a joy handed to me this morning. We have such talent in this church, as we all know, and Molly had, in last year's auction, put in doing portraits or from pictures and things. So just recently I gave her a picture of my little Martha that I adopted during the pandemic, and this morning she gave me this watercolor of her, and she caught her likeness perfect, including her little cataract. So this is my joy for today.
We're going to take a moment of silence. Do it. I don't have any. Okay, cool. We're going to take a moment of silence just to carry in our hearts the joys and concerns that weren't said today. Thank you. Now it's time for all ages. We're going to have our own Lindsay Stroh come up and do our time for all ages today.
Good morning. This is Women's History Month, and as we think about the years and years and centuries where women were told they could only stay home and take care of the housekeeping and the children, but they weren't good enough or smart enough to have jobs that paid money or to vote. It's hard to remember that all that happened, and some of us even remember when we were little that we were still taught that women weren't good enough for these things. But my friend Iris Ann Hirsch wrote a song for her Girl Scout troop long ago, and now that song's been published in the Girl Scout Handbook, and I want to share that song with you, and it has a part for you. Whenever I sing, "Yes, you can," if you agree, I want you to sing back, "Yes, you can." Okay? Can a woman fly?
Yes, she can.
Can a woman fly an airplane? Yes, she can. Yes, she can. Can a woman build a building? Yes, she can. Yes, she can. Can a woman fight a fire? Can a woman change a tire? Can a woman lead a choir? Yes, she can. Yes, she can. Can a woman be a lawyer? Yes, she can.
Yes, she can.
Can a woman fix an engine? Yes, she can.
Yes, she can.
Can a woman be a drummer? Can a woman be a plumber? Can she play ball in the summer? Yes, she can. Yes, she can. Can a woman be a doctor? Yes, she can.
Yes, she can.
Can a woman drive a tractor? Yes, she can.
Yes, she can.
Can a woman lead a nation? Can she run a TV station? Can she head a corporation? Yes, she can.
Yes, she can.
Oh, someday when you're older, you will see. You'll be helping make tomorrow's history. As you grow up through the years, we'll all sing out loud and clear. Can we start the process here? Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
That was awesome. Now is going to be time for our interlude and offering. Just like NPR, we're completely funded out of donations from our members and guests. So please see the screen for all the ways that you can donate. You'll also see our lovely kiddos passing around baskets. We share 40% of the plate with our local partners. I believe right now we're sharing with the center, I think, still. Yes? Okay, cool. The Center is an awesome LGBTQ plus organization off of Mills, and they're really awesome. So if you get a chance to donate, we'd appreciate it. And ET is going to be playing something. Sorry, I didn't look at it. But she's going to be playing for us during interlude and offering. Looks like our kiddos are just finishing up here. Thank you all. So helpful. We appreciate it. And we obviously always offer our kiddos to stay, but most of the time they do want to rush off to their lessons. So I'm going to go ahead and have us sing them out. We love you and bless you and send you on your way. We love you and bless you today and every day. So in the vein of women, we are going to be talking about women, inspiring women in history today, and I am going to welcome Lindsay back up to start our service today. Very good. Or sorry, Joey. It's Joey first. Just kidding.
Okay. I was asked at the program planning committee a few months ago. Well, actually, I volunteered because it seems to me that this is a very important topic. And since this month is International Women's Month, International Women's History Month, we are going to be talking about people who inspired us through history. I was lucky enough to be able to tap into the amazing talent in this church, and I'm very grateful for that because all I have to do pretty much is introduce. I will tell you this, that Women's International Day was established by the United Nations in 1977. Some of their goals are promoting gender equality, because despite significant progress, women still continue to face discrimination in education, in employment, and often in leadership. It also is supposed to be helping to end gender-based violence. Domestic violence, sexual harassment, and human trafficking are much more a problem for women than for men, for sure. But at any rate, it's still, that's one of the things they're working on. Advancing women's economic empowerment, because they often face barriers in the workplace, including unequal pay, lack of access to leadership roles, and limited maternity benefits. Also, encouraging women's leadership in political participation and improving access to education and health care. Those are some of the ways that, some of the things that are, we are expected, hopefully, to address during this month, but obviously all the time. And without further ado, I'm going to be welcoming up three of our wonderful members. Lindsay will start, Jill Vita will be participating as well, and our own Roberta Lerman. So, Lindsay, would you come up, please?
Before I start, I want to thank Roberta Lerman for these adorable women from different ages that she's put. Be sure and come up and take a look. It is my honor to talk about the founder of the American Red Cross, Clara Barton. Clarissa Harlow Barton was born on Christmas Day in 1821. Her family were active members of the local Universalist Church in North Oxford, Massachusetts. When Clara was 11 years old, her brother fell from a tree and was seriously injured with a traumatic head injury. In learning to nurse him for several months, she learned many nursing skills until her brother made a full recovery. Clara enjoyed playing with her brothers and her cousins, all boys, and when she was injured doing horseback riding, her family said, "We need to do something to make you more feminine. So we should go to college and learn to be a teacher." So she did. She went to college in New York State. And then she taught for 11 years in Massachusetts. Then she went back to college in New York for some more courses. While she was there, she learned that a public school right across the border in New Jersey didn't have a public school. So she said, well, I can start one. So she hired another teacher and convinced the town to raise funds for a new school building, $6,000. Once the school was built, the town hired a man as a principal and demoted Clara to female assistant at a lower salary. the environment was pretty harsh, and she quit. She moved to Washington, D.C., where she worked as a clerk in the U.S. Patent Office for 3 years. She was the first woman to have that level of a federal job as a clerk. But the men in the office did not appreciate that, and they objected to women holding jobs like that. So her position was reduced to one of a copyist. And then she was fired because of her black republicanism. Basically, she was an abolitionist and let them know. She went home to Massachusetts, but she returned when Abe Lincoln was elected president, and again went to work in the patent office. In 1861, the Baltimore riot was the first bloodshed of the American Civil War. The victims, Massachusetts militia members, included some of Clara Barton's former pupils. She and other women volunteers went to D.C. when the victims arrived and provided nursing care, much-needed supplies, and emotional support. Clara Barton became involved with the Ladies' Aid Society, which distributed bandages, food, and clothing that was distributed during the Civil War. In 1862, she finally gained permission to work as a nurse on the front lines. And I think, as you all know, there was no such thing as nursing school back then. You just learned these skills and were called a nurse. She placed an ad at her own expense in a Massachusetts newspaper for supplies for these hospitals, and the response was overwhelming. She worked to distribute supplies, set up clean field hospitals, supplied dressings, served food to wounded soldiers. She helped all who were injured, whether they were Union or Confederate, and also the soldiers from the segregated colored units. All were given care. In 1864, she was appointed as the lady in charge of several military hospitals and was called the Angel of the Battlefield, earning the gratitude of overwhelming field surgeons at the front. After the war, she ran the Office for Missing Persons. She and her assistants wrote over 40,000 replies to inquiries from people that were writing the War Department saying, "Where's my soldier? Where's my family member? He didn't come home." She went to finding out those that had been killed in that horrible Andersonville Confederate jail, and was helping for a long, long time to help people find the missing soldiers. Then she went on a nationwide tour, telling all about her experiences and all the things she'd done, and was gotten herself pretty exhausted. She was in her 60s by this time. And her doctor finally insisted, "You have to go and take a vacation and rest." She was not the kind of person who did that, but they said, "You must." She said, "Okay, I'll go to Europe." I think I know why she agreed to go to Europe. There was a brand new organization that had been founded in Geneva, Switzerland, and she was introduced to the head of the International Red Cross, a brand new organization dedicated to providing relief to soldiers and civilians injured during warfare. The Red Cross was dedicated to neutrality, helping all that needed care. So it was a warfare assistance organization. And they wanted members from every country to form chapters. Well, the restful vacation the doctor ordered was not to be because the Franco-Prussian War broke out. And Clara Barton became involved in Europe, setting up field hospitals and distributing supplies and helping people throughout France and Germany and Prussia. Finally, back in the USA, she rallied support for an American branch of the Red Cross. She met with President Rutherford B. Hayes, who said America did not need a war relief organization because the U.S. would never again face a calamity like the Civil War. No warfare on our land. Finally, she met with President Chester Arthur using the argument that the new American Red Cross could respond to natural disasters like earthquakes, forest fires, and hurricanes. So finally the Red Cross was established. That was 1881. She became the president of the American branch of the Red Cross in 1881. Red Cross teams helped refugees and prisoners during the Spanish-American War. Barton led teams that responded to floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, and a terrible yellow fever epidemic here in Florida. Clara Barton worked hand in hand with volunteers all over the U.S. Her last field operation was helping victims of the Galveston hurricane in 1900, the worst natural disaster in our history, even up to this date. I believe her greatest contribution was convincing the American Red Cross and then the International Red Cross to go beyond warfare operations and provide disaster relief to people around the world. One of my proudest moments was receiving the Clara Barton Award for my volunteer work in Maryland. You can tell it meant a lot to me. So may her dedication be an inspiration to all of us. Next up, we have Jill Vita.
As many of you know, I'm a nurse. When I was first in nursing school, I kind of discounted Florence Nightingale. I always thought her ideas were kind of old-fashioned. I'm not a handmaiden to anybody. But when I went back for my master's, I did learn more about Florence Nightingale. So she was, as you know, the founder of modern nursing. But I didn't know that she actually had taken a lot of Unitarian and Universalist beliefs into her heart, and that was what inspired her. She was born in 1820 in Florence, Italy, and she was raised in the UK. She's known as the Lady with the Lamp. That was kind of like one of the symbols in nursing school. You got a pin with a little lamp on it, the lamp of learning. And her religious beliefs very strongly influenced her work and the development of modern nursing. As a young woman, Florence believed she received a calling from God to serve others, and she wrote in her diary that God had given her a mission to improve society and to help those who were suffering. At that time, nursing was not considered a respectable career for upper-class women. Her family expected her to marry and have children and live a traditional life. However, because she was so adamant and believed that she was called to this higher spiritual purpose, her father relented and allowed her to study science and statistics. And although she was raised in the English evangelical church, her thinking was also influenced by ideas similar to those found in Unitarian and Universalism traditions, and later became part of the UUA. And these traditions emphasize reason and questioning in religion, moral responsibility to improve society, the belief that every person has inherent worth and dignity. Does that sound familiar? And these ideas shaped her views about healthcare. She once wrote, "I think one's feelings waste themselves in words. They ought to be distilled into actions which bring results." And this quote reflects how her faith pushed her to take action, not just talk about helping others. She believed that science and faith should work together, and that studying sanitation, medicine, and statistics was a way of understanding the natural laws created by God. Her belief that every human life had equal value also influenced her commitment to improving care for soldiers and hospital patients. Her beliefs became very important, especially during the Crimean War, where she dramatically improved conditions for wounded soldiers. When she arrived at the military hospitals, she found horrible conditions, filthy wards, poor sanitation, little ventilation, and very high death rates from disease. And because she believed every life had dignity and value, she worked tirelessly to improve the environment. She introduced cleaning and sanitation practices, fresh air, better ventilation, improved nutrition, and organized patient care. And she also carefully collected data to prove that the sanitation reduced death rates. Her actions were so effective that the death rates dropped from 46% to just 2%. Yeah. Another famous quote from Nightingale explains her philosophy of nursing. The very first requirement in a hospital is that it should do no harm, and that's also part of the Hippocratic Oath. And this idea later became the core principle of modern healthcare. Oops, where am I? I think that was the end of my thing. That's it. And y'all know this is not my thing. So I would like to introduce our own Roberta Lerman, who is going to talk to us about a very Unitarian Universalist artist.
Okay, well, I guess it isn't a surprise that I selected an artist, being one myself. The one I'm going to talk about, there are, of course, a lot of women artists that were successful, but this is the first one on record. She's a 16th century Italian artist, born and raised in Bologna, Italy, and her name is Lavinia Fontana. Any woman, young girl, that would like to pursue a career in art was not allowed in the official Royal Academy's art schools. So those that were probably reasonably successful were either raised by their fathers, trained by their fathers, because they were artists, and they saw the potential in their daughters to be skillful artists. Or they might have been trained by a good friend of the father's that was an artist. And Lavinia was trained by her father that was an artist. Now, Bologna was sort of liberal. They encouraged women to get a good education, not necessarily how to paint and draw. Again, as everybody was saying, women were supposed to just get married and have children. They weren't supposed to have a career. And so she actually attended the University of Bologna and got what we would call today a doctorate degree. So, and that's always good for an artist because it helps them decide on subject matter for painting. She was in the sphere of men artists that were competing for major commissions, and she won her share. She was really a very talented artist. She did a variety of subjects, religious, because you know the church still liked a lot of artwork around their churches. She did mythology. Mythology was popular. Subjects, and on her own she did a lot of portraits. Now she was very good with detail, and the wealthy woman loved that and sought after her to have their portrait done. So she did lots of portraits. She was very well known all over Bologna for her artwork. The women wanted to flaunt, the wealthy women wanted to flaunt their jewelry and their gorgeous clothes, and she was very good at the detail for doing that. She was so popular. Oh, one of the other things is that she did apply for to go to the Royal Academy of Painting, and she was refused because she was a woman. Also, it wasn't proper for women artists to paint nudes, and she said, "I'll paint nudes if I want," and she did. And she either had her father help her learn the anatomy of humans and do a good job on it, or she figured it out herself, because actually she was refused to go to the school that taught artists how to do nudes. Again, you know, women were supposed to get married and have children. They weren't supposed to have a career. But one of the her father had other art students besides her, and I guess one of them fell so in love with her, he wanted to marry her and give up his own dreams of being a major artist. And so I think it was her father, I'm not sure who, but he was behind this, but he signed a contract saying that he married her, he would be in charge of the household duties, raising the children, and so that she could be free to be a full-time artist and the breadwinner of the family. And this in the 16th century. And apparently he did. Because, you know, she just has volumes of work that she did. They had 11 children. She was so popular in Bologna, she went to Rome. I guess Rome was probably a more prestigious place to be at that time. And she not only was a big success there, but she was appointed the portrait artist for the court of, I think it was Paul V, the Pope. So she, again, was an inspiration for other women artists. That if she could make it, so could they. And thank you.
Absolutely amazing. Women are amazing, and that's the takeaway here for sure. We're going to go ahead and extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not truth. And our closing music today is called Do You Hear, and it's led by Ann Packham and E.T. Turan.
Please rise in body and spirit. I think most people know this one, but why don't you just play one little bit to introduce us? Thanks. Do you hear, oh my friend, in the place where you stand, through the sky, through the land? Do you hear, in the heights, on the plain, in the vale, on the main, in the sun, in the rain? Do you hear? Through the roar, through the rush, through the throng, through the crush, do you hear in the hush of your soul, of your soul? Hear the cry, fear won't still, hear the heart's call to will, hear a sigh, startling trill, in your soul, in your soul. From the place where you stand to the outermost strand, do you hear, oh my friend? Do you hear all the dreams, all the dares, all the sighs, all the prayers? They are yours, mine and theirs. Do you hear? Do you hear? Beautiful. For my closing words today, they come again from the International Women's Day website. But before I do my closing words, I do want to mention that the International Day of Trans Visibility is coming up on March 31st, and no matter where anybody is in their gender journey, they are valid. And just to remember that, you know, as we are a welcoming congregation here, and practicing the use of pronouns makes us more of the
the tradition that we want to keep as our welcoming congregation is just making sure that we are making sure that everybody feels valid when they walk in the door. Okay, now I'm going to go for my, so the International Women's Day theme this year was to give to get. And so at work, at home, and in the community, there are many ways to overtly advance women. Give respect, give donations, give visibility, give knowledge, give funding, give justice, give resources, give a voice, give protection, give proof, give truth, give equal pay, give celebration, give sponsorship, give mentoring, give credit, give budget, give introductions, give workshops, give opportunities, give safety, give training, give stretch assignments, give momentum, give role models, give growth, give access, and give time. And I don't know if we have a postlude. We do have a postlude.
Go in peace.
Could whoever has the two clipboards that I was passing around, send them up to me. the clipboards for volunteering, and the clipboards for meals for the auction.